Hi guys, I'm going to do the January tags. There's 3 tags by A Stitch in Time, StitchingPanda and Mrs. BakerGirl. Not sure if there's any other tags going around, but they're the 3 that I have noticed, so I'm going to do them all in the one video. So I'll start with the Stitch in Time, and I've got all these written down. Number 1, show us your favourite finish. That's really hard because all my finishes are my favourite. Obviously at this point in time I would have said that my dragon is my favourite finish, but that isn't finished. So I'm going to show you my first finish, which is also my first cross stitch. So that's what led me on this journey. So it would have to be my favourite. And this is it here. Hopefully you can see that okay. This is called Backyard Swing and it's by Dimensions, and I don't have the chart anymore. I'm not sure what happened to that. I probably scribbled all over it back in the day. That's what I thought you did. This took me a long time to stitch. I remember doing probably 3/4 of it and then putting it aside because I got to the back stitching and I got scared. So I put it away, and about 8 months later, I think it was, I had a knee operation and I was at home recovering and I was really bored and I thought, oh, what can I do? And I remembered I had this in my glory box, that's what we call them, and I pulled it out and I finished it. So it's not perfect, but I'm so glad I did it. So that would be my favourite. Number 2, show the back of one of your projects. Okay, the first one I grabbed was my Mirabilia Mermaid of Atlantis. So to remind you, this is the front and this is the back. Again, not perfect, but that's pretty average for how the backs of my works look. Number 3, loops, knots or catching the tail of your thread. I prefer the loop start method, and I will generally choose fabrics that I know I can start with the loop method, so either 28 or 32 count fabric where I will use 2 strands and therefore start with the loop method. So basically I will always use the loop method if I'm using 2 or 4 strands. Any other time that I can't use the loop method, then I will catch the tail of my thread. I don't use knots, I never have. So yes, loops is my preferred method. Tag number 2 is by StitchingPanda, and her question was, number 1, if you were a fairy tale or storybook character, what or who would you be and why? And also, did you ever get a cross stitch pattern because of it? I would choose Tinkerbell because I love fairies, and who doesn't want to know how to fly? I think that would be amazing. Also sprinkling that fairy dust around, making everyone happy and sprinkling a little bit of magic would be awesome. I also like the fact that she's not perfect. She has a bit of an attitude problem at times, so I think that's really cute. So yes, I would stitch Tinkerbell. And do I have a pattern, overboard pattern because of it? No. I have seen a pattern, a Disney pattern of Tinkerbell and Cinderella's castle, and I believe it is retired and it's very rare, and when it does go on eBay it gets huge dollars for it, and if I ever find that again I will buy it. I don't care how much it is, I will buy it. I would absolutely love to stitch that, so if anyone out there knows where I can get my hands on a copy of that, I would love you forever. Number 2 was, what is the most unique place you've taken your cross stitching? Well, I've taken mine to work, which a lot of you have also done, but I work in an industrial area, so I suppose you could say that is a little bit unique. My husband and I, I've mentioned before, we have 2 businesses. The majority of our workplace is galvanised sheet metal, so it's a dirty, dusty place, and I have taken my work there before and in my lunchtime sat and stitched. So it's not the best surroundings for something you want to keep nice and clean, but I have done that. I have also taken it to the hairdresser, again, around bleach and hair colours and things like that. Probably not the best environment, but they're probably my only 2 unique places I have ever taken my stitching. Number 3, what is your favourite pattern, your most favourite pattern in your stash? Wow, that was really hard. All of my patterns are my favourites, and I have trouble, anyone that knows me knows that I have trouble deciding on one thing. But I managed to, and I would have to say that this is probably my favourite pattern. Heaven and Earth Designs A Long Winter Snap. I love Christmas, and this is just perfect. I love the colours in it. I love that he's got a cat. I love Santa looks so real. I love the fireplace, because to me, Christmas should be cold with snow. I know, I live in Australia, so completely opposite to what we have, but to me, this is how Christmas should be. So I will stitch this one day. Haven't yet. It will get done, and I have seen a few people stitching it, so I'm living it through them one day. So that's it for Stitching Panda's tags. And the third tag is Mrs. BakerGirl, and her question number 1, how long have you been stitching? I'm not certain of the year that I started. I do believe it was around 1990. So I'm coming up for 25 years this year, so that's a long time. I have, like most of you, given it a little bit of a break for a while. I was mentioned to Tara the other day in a message that I tend to, when I have a hobby, I give it everything. I give it 100% of my energy, and then I eventually burn myself out because, I don't know, I just have no energy left anymore. So that's me, that's what I tend to do. Hopefully that won't happen again with cross stitching, but I've had a few breaks with it over the years. Number 2 question, what is your favourite thing you have bought for cross stitch purposes? That was easy. My favourite thing was my Millennium frame and stand. Also my most expensive thing, but it's the thing that has helped me the most. It has completely changed my way of stitching. It's changed my comfort level, and it's just perfect. I love it. Number 3, if you could do a Disney cross stitch, what would it be? I mentioned that before in the other tag. I would like to do the Tinkerbell with Cinderella's Castle. That is my number 1 dream, to stitch that piece. I would also do a Frozen. I don't think Disney have brought out a Frozen design yet. I know there's lots of other ones on the internet that people have made up themselves, but I'd love to see Disney do a Frozen, and I would stitch that because I love that movie. And I've also seen a design, again, I'm not sure if it's a Disney one or whether it's created by someone else, but Princess and the Frog. I really liked that picture with the paddle steamer on the river. I've never even seen the movie, but I really loved that cross stitch. So I would stitch that, so that's actually 3, but okay. Question 4, out of all the cross stitch magazines and books, which is your favourite? So I've taken this to be cross stitch magazines. think that's what you meant. I've written down a couple. I like the Cross Stitch Collection magazines. I choose more designs in those magazines that I would like to stitch above any others. I can pretty much guarantee there'll be at least one design in each magazine that I will fall in love with. And also the Just Cross Stitch magazines. I have a lot of those in my collection, and I mainly like the Christmas ornaments. They do special magazines each year for just Christmas ornaments, and I can find a dozen at least in each magazine that I love. So that's it. I think that's it for her questions. So thank you very much everyone for listening to all that, and hope you have a great stitching day. Bye!